Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly free? Not just free to choose what to eat for lunch, not just free to scroll through your phone or pick what show to watch. I mean real freedom. The kind of freedom where you're fully in control of your life, where your thoughts are truly your own, where your actions are driven by your will, not by fear or pressure or the expectations of others. If you're like most people, that kind of freedom feels distant. We like to believe we're free, that we have control, that we're making choices because we want to. But deep down, many of us sense that something isn't quite right. We work jobs we don't love, we buy things we don't need, we spend hours lost in screens, in news feeds, in distractions, and all the while we tell ourselves this is freedom. But what if it isn't? What if most of what we call freedom is just an illusion, a carefully designed illusion? What if the very things we think make us free are the very things keeping us trapped? This isn't a new question, it's something philosophers have wrestled with for centuries, and one of the most powerful voices in this conversation was Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche wasn't interested in comforting lies. He wasn't here to make you feel good about the world. He believed that most people, even in so-called free societies, are not truly free at all. He called it slavery, but not the kind we read about in history books, not chains of iron or prison walls. Nietzsche spoke of a far more subtle form of slavery, the slavery of the mind, slavery to society's values, slavery to comfort, slavery to our own unexamined desires. And here's the uncomfortable truth. This kind of slavery is everywhere. It's in our schools, it's in our workplaces, it's in our friendships, our relationships, our routines. Most people will live their entire lives inside invisible cages, never questioning the walls around them, never realizing they're trapped at all. But once you see those walls, once you glimpse the truth, you can never go back. In this video, we're going to explore Nietzsche's brutal but liberating perspective on freedom. We'll dive into why most people will never be truly free, how modern society keeps us trapped, and what it really takes to break out of this invisible slavery. This isn't easy, and it won't be comfortable, but if you're willing to listen, if you're willing to question everything, you may just walk away with a new vision of freedom. A freedom far deeper than anything society can offer. So, are you ready? Let's begin. Have you ever stopped to think about what freedom really means? Not just the absence of physical chains, but something far deeper. The freedom to live authentically, to follow your own will, to create your own values and purpose. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of history's most radical philosophers, believed most people, despite living in so-called free societies, are not truly free at all. In fact, he believed that many live in a form of modern slavery. Not slavery of the body, but slavery of the mind. Slavery to beliefs they didn't choose, to desires that were planted in them, to fears that were inherited from others. But how does this happen? Why do so few people ever escape this invisible prison? Let's break it down. 1. The chains of conditioning and herd mentality. Nietzsche warned about the danger of the herd mentality, the instinct to conform. From the moment we're born, we're shaped by the people around us. Parents, teachers, friends, the media, culture. They all send us powerful signals about what's acceptable and what isn't. We're taught to obey, to behave, to be polite, to follow the crowd. School systems reward memorization, not independent thinking. Most people spend years learning how to fit in, but almost no time learning how to think for themselves. Even in adulthood, it doesn't stop. Most people still crave approval from others. They don't realize that many of their goals aren't really theirs at all. They want a certain job, not because it fulfills them, but because it's respected. They chase money not because they need it, but because everyone else does. They seek status not because it makes them happy, but because society told them they should. This is the first chain, the need to belong, and most people never even notice it. 2. The will to power and self-mastery. Nietzsche believed that deep inside every human is a force he called the will to power. It's the drive to grow, to evolve, to overcome, and to become stronger. But here's the problem. This drive is often suppressed by comfort and fear. True freedom isn't just about rejecting the herd, it's about mastering yourself. It's the ability to face your darkest thoughts, to confront your weaknesses, to take control of your emotions and impulses. Nietzsche believed that most people avoid this inner struggle. They'd rather numb themselves with distractions, comfortable jobs, mindless entertainment, material possessions. They seek happiness by avoiding discomfort. But in doing so, they surrender their freedom. True freedom demands discipline. It's not just about doing what feels good, it's about choosing what is meaningful, even when it's hard. This is the second chain, the fear of self-mastery. Most people would rather stay comfortable than grow stronger. 3. Modern slavery. The new invisible chains. Nietzsche lived in the 1800s, but his insights are even more relevant today. Think about it. Today's society offers more choices than ever before, more technology, more convenience, more entertainment. But despite all this, many people feel trapped, anxious, overwhelmed, unfulfilled. Why? Because modern slavery doesn't look like old slavery. It's not chains on your wrists, it's chains on your mind. Slavery to consumerism, constantly buying things you don't need to fill an inner emptiness. Slavery to social media, chasing likes, followers, and external validation. Slavery to distraction, endless scrolling, streaming, and noise to avoid facing yourself. Slavery to debt, trapped in financial systems that keep you working jobs you hate. Slavery to fear, fear of missing out, fear of being judged, fear of uncertainty. We live in a culture that encourages dependence. Dependence on companies, dependence on social approval, dependence on endless consumption. This is modern slavery. And it's far more subtle than anything Nietzsche could have imagined. The illusion of freedom. Here's the most dangerous part. Most people believe they are already free. They think that because they can pick their job, their clothes, or their favorite Netflix show, they are making free choices. But Nietzsche would argue that these choices are often illusions. If you aren't deeply self-aware, if you don't question where your desires come from, then those choices are not really yours. They're programmed by culture, by advertising, by peer pressure. Freedom isn't about having more options on a menu. It's about knowing why you are choosing what you choose. True freedom begins the moment you start asking, why do I want this? Who told me this was valuable? Is this my desire or someone else's? Breaking free. The hard path to authenticity. Fifthly, how do you break these chains? How do you start living freely in a world full of invisible traps? Nietzsche's answer is not easy, but it's simple. First, radical self-honesty. Stop lying to yourself. Question everything you believe. Be brutally honest about your motives. Secondly, embrace discomfort. Stop running from pain and challenge. Growth requires discomfort. You cannot become strong by staying comfortable. Thirdly, create your own values. Reject society's ready-made goals. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? Then live by those values, no matter what others think. Fourthly, master your desires. Freedom doesn't mean indulging every impulse, it means controlling them, directing them toward what makes you stronger. Fifthly, surround yourself with warriors. Find people who value truth over comfort, people who push you to grow, not conform. This is the path of the overman, the person who rises above herd instincts to live authentically. It's not an easy path, it's a lifelong struggle, but it's the only way to live truly free. The final reward: freedom, creativity, joy. So, what happens when you break free? What's waiting at the end of this difficult path? According to Nietzsche, you don't just gain freedom, you gain something even more powerful. You become the creator of your own life. Life stops being something that happens to you. It becomes your own work of art. You gain deep joy, not shallow happiness, but profound fulfillment. You discover your true power, not over others, but over yourself. This is the highest form of freedom. Reflection. Are you truly free? So let me ask you this: are you living your own life, or just playing a role assigned by others? Are your goals truly yours, or borrowed from society? What are the invisible chains that still hold you back? Freedom doesn't come by accident. It's a conscious, daily choice. You must see the chains before you can break them. The truth is, most people will never be truly free. They will spend their entire lives inside invisible cages, but a few, those brave enough to walk this path, will discover a freedom beyond anything society can offer. If this message resonates with you, leave a comment below. Have you ever experienced this kind of awakening? What chains are you still working to break? Let's start a conversation about reclaiming freedom in an age of modern slavery. And if you want more philosophy, motivation, and deep ideas, subscribe for more, because the journey to freedom never ends.